Hi guys, so this morning we're going to be working on the quotient rule. It's your last rule for our exponents before you have your quiz. So we're going to take a look at your first example here, and we're talking about quotient, which is division, which really honestly has very little division in it. So I have this 27 divided by 42. So if you get your calculators and you put in 27 divided by 42, you get this decimal. If we turn it back into a fraction, we get this 9/14. So that will tell us exactly what that simplifies to. Okay, now we have these x's. So I have x to the 5th over x. X to the 5th really means that I have 5 x's on the top. X means I have 1 x on the bottom. If I go and cancel things out, because there's the same thing on the top, the same thing on the bottom, cancel 1 and 1. You can see here that I have 4 x's left on the top here. So this is going to be an x to the 4th on the top, and that will be your final answer. All right. So next one here, let me just write it bigger so you can see it. Y squared to the 2nd power all over 4. So you can see that we're going to have to use one of our previous rules, our power rule here. Notice how only the top is in parentheses, not the bottom. So if I bring that parentheses in, I have y to the 4th over y to the 4th. So again, this means that I have 4 y's on the top, and this means that I have 4 y's on the bottom. If you go and cancel them out, cancel 1 for 1, 1 for 1, 1 for 1, 1 for 1, you can see that I do not have any y's left. All right, this does not make my answer 0. You need to think about what number is really in front of those y's that we don't actually write, and the answer is 1. So your answer there would be 1. All right, so hopefully you wrote those down. If you didn't, please do so now. Go back, rewatch, and write them down. What I want you to do then is flip your paper on the back and label it quotient rule, because we are going to do some more examples. Okay, so again, flip your paper onto the back and write quotient rule so that we can do some more examples on the back here. All right. So first example that we're going to do on the back here, we're going to keep things very simple. All right, we have here a 2x to the 3rd, y to the 4th, all over 6x, y to the 5th. All right, so starting in the beginning here, right in the front, 2 over 6. If you put that in the calculator, 2 divided by 6, turn it back into the turn it back into a fraction, you should get 1 over 3. Now looking at my x's, this means I have 3 x's on the top, and this means I have 1 x on the bottom. If I go and cancel them, I have 2 x's left on the top, so I have an x squared left on the top. Same thing here with my y's. I have 4 y's on the top. I have 5 y's on the bottom. If I go and cancel them out, cancel and cancel, 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 you can see that I have 1 y left on the bottom. Okay, and the big question, guys, usually is, do I really need this 1 out in front? And the answer is no. So you get an x squared over 3y as your answer. All right, some of you guys have probably seen by now and kind of figured out we're almost doing subtraction. Like I had 3 x's on the top and 1 on the bottom. I subtract those and I have 2 left. Here with my y's, I have 4 y's on the top and 5 y's on the bottom. Subtract them, I have 1 y left on the bottom. Just be very, very careful, because you need to know where you have those, whatever variable it is, where they're left. Okay, so let's do another one here. Okay, if we do 10x to the 3rd, y to the 6th, all over 5x squared, and y to the 8th. All right, I'd like you guys to pause the video now, and I'd like you to try this one on your own. All right, so again, hopefully you guys actually pause the video. If you didn't, please pause it now and try this one on your own before we go over it. So going over this one, 10 divided by 5 is 2. If I put that in the calculator, so that's going to be on the top. My x's, same thing as before. I had 3 x's on the top, 2 x's on the bottom. If I cancel them out, I have 1 x left on the top. And then the same thing we're going to do with our y's here. I have 6 y's on the top. And I have 8 y's on the bottom. Okay, if I go and cancel them out, 1 for 1, 1 for 1. Keep going. Okay, you should have 2 y's left on the bottom, so that would be a y squared. So that would be your answer. Okay. So let's do another one here. Let's throw in some negative exponents, some things that we talked about before. All right, so I have a 3 n to the negative third, m to the fifth, all over n to the seventh, m to the negative seventh, x to the 0. All right. So this one here has a lot of negative exponents. And if you remember before, guys, I said be very careful with all your whole subtracting thing, if that's what you're really trying to do, because this is where it gets a little bit weird. Okay, I have these 2 negative exponents. Me personally, I do not like negative exponents. I want to move them to the right spot. So the 3 is going to stay on the top. My m to the 5th is staying on the top. My n to the 7th is staying on the bottom. And my x to the 0 power is just a 1. Okay, that lets my 2 things here that needs to move to the opposite location. So my n to the negative third is coming to the bottom. My m to the negative 7th is coming to the top. And remember, when things switch, you no longer need the negative exponent. Okay, so now looking, I have 2 m's that are next to each other. If I combine those and I use our product rule, that means add the exponent, so I get m to the 12th power. On the bottom here, I have 2 n's next to each other. Again, add your exponents and we get n to the 10th power. I have no negative exponents anywhere anymore. I don't have anything division top to bottom that I can simplify. So this would be your final answer. Okay, notice how, guys, for that problem, I didn't actually use the division rule at all, even though it's a fraction. All right, some people could because you're really having like your -3 minus 7, which gives you a -10, so it's on the bottom. And you have your 5 minus your -7 for your m's, which gives you a +12. So you have your 12s on the top. Personally, I think it's a whole lot easier to just move things around with your negative exponents first. And then you don't have to worry about subtraction and negatives and all that kind of stuff. Okay. All right, let's do another one here. We have x to the 5th, b to the 3rd, all over x, b to the -1st. That whole thing raised to the 4th power. So this is where, guys, we're starting to use our old rules as well. Okay, again, there's multiple different ways to go about solving this problem. If you don't like negative exponents, you can move this negative exponent up. You could do your division rule inside the parentheses first. Okay, some people will look and go, wait, there's parentheses here. I don't like that. I want to use my power rule first. All right, personally, for me, I would like to use my power rule first. All right, so I'm going to put my little exponent of 1 there, and I'm going to bring this 4 in to everything. So I have x to the 20th, b to the 12th, all over x to the 4th, b to the -4th. Okay, now that my parentheses are gone, now I want to deal with this negative exponent. I want to bring that up top. So I have x to the 20th, b to the 12th, x to the 4th, and the only thing that's moving is this b to the -4th, and that's moving to the top. So now that I moved things, now I need to look top to bottom. I have x's on both the top and the bottom. So I have 20 x's on the top, I have 4 x's on the bottom. So if you would go and write out 20 x's and write out 4 x's and cross them off, that would give me 16 x's left, and those would be on the top. Same thing here with my b's. My b's here are next to each other. So this is the product rule. The b stays, but you add your exponents. 12 plus 4 gives me 16, and that would be your answer. Okay. So one more, ladies and gentlemen, that I want us to do together, and then you will be finished with this video. Okay, I'm gonna ask that you guys do this one on your own, so please write it down. So I have AB to the 6th power all over A to the negative first B raised to the 5th power. So again, pause the video and please try this one on your own. So hopefully you actually paused your video here. If you didn't, please pause it now and make sure you're doing this one problem. Okay, put your little exponents of 1 in, and again, the way I go through and solve could be very different than what you did. You could have moved your negative exponent to the top. You could have simplified your b's first, or you can bring in your exponent of 5 first. There's many different ways to go about it. I'm going to bring in my exponent of 5 first. So that has me with an a to the 5th, b to the 30th, a to the negative 5th, b to the 5th. Okay, now again, I do not like negative exponents, so I'm going to move this to the top. So I have an a to the 5th and I have another a to the 5th. I still have that b to the 30th on the top, and I still have my b to the 5th on the bottom. Now I can go and combine things. I have two a to the 5ths, they're right next to each other. Add those exponents, so I get a to the 10th. And then I have a b to the 30th on the top and a b to the 5th on the bottom. If I would write out 30 b's on the top and 5 b's on the bottom and cancel them out, I'd have 25 b's left, and they would be on the top. So that would be your answer. Okay. So hopefully, guys, that made a little bit of sense going through. If you have questions, please make sure you're asking. Go back and rewatch the video. If you did not take notes, please make sure that you go back and take the notes. You need this. You will be having your exponents test coming up here very soon. Please make sure you're looking for what else you need to be doing this class period. I'll see you guys when I get back. Thank you.